Hello everyone, welcome to the next session. Today we'll be talking about fields and data types in general, and we'll be diving deep into Salesforce lookups and master details, as those are the key fields. Starting with the agenda, so we'll be discussing on a higher level what are the field types in Salesforce, and then discussing mainly about lookups and master relationships in Salesforce. So there are a lot of field types. I just created a screenshot which depicts different types of field like auto numbers, formulas, roll up summaries, lookup, master detail, checkboxes, text area, and a lot other. But primarily in this session we'll be focusing on lookup and master details since those are really key to identify and operate while you are creating a data model. So that is very important. And not diving deep into the lookup and the master detailed relationships. How the session will flow is that I am just giving you a glimpse in this deck, and then I'll be doing a live demo on what is lookup, what is master detail, and I'll also use tools like Excel probably to display how two objects can be linked together and when should we use what, and things like that. So just to give you a one liner, so lookup relationship is basically a data type which is used to loosely link two objects, so that it is not like if you're creating a detail then a master is important. It is not so a child record can exist even without a parent object, while in master detail it is not the same. If you're creating a child record of the child object, you definitely have to have a parent record tagged to that. Otherwise it won't make any sense, and you won't be able to save the record. That is just a one liner, but yeah, we'll be diving deeper into the technicalities here. Let me share my screen, and then I'll go through Salesforce screen as well as Excel to give you a better glimpse of things.
Hey guys, so if you can see right here, I have created, I have been trying to replicate the scenario here. So we have two objects, one is student and one is course, and each student belongs to a particular course. It has student ID, it has name, and it has email. And then there's a course object, which has the course ID, course name, and number of students. Right. So consider that there's a master detail relationship between the two. So what is a master detail relationship? Firstly, in master detail relationship, there are two objects. One is master, one is detail, or you can call it a parent or a child, right? Or you can call it one to many. There are multiple names to it. So whatever you call it, right? So in this scenario, the course is the master and student is the child, because a student cannot exist without a course. So that means this field here is kind of a master detail to course. So on student, we have created a field called course ID, which is a master tail field, and it references to the course. And any student record cannot be created or updated by adding or removing this course. So it has to be there. The course has to be there on a student record. Suppose if I remove this, right, it will not allow you to do so. So this is a master tail relationship. Now, what happens when to use a master tail relationship? There are certain properties of master tail relationship. Firstly, when suppose you delete a C1 record, right? We delete this record here. Let me put it to orange, right? We delete this record. It automatically delete this and this student record, because a student cannot exist without a detail record, right? So as soon as the master, sorry, a student which is a detail cannot exist without a master record. So as soon as we delete the master record, the student record is automatically deleted. This is the first property. Now, secondly, let's create another field called owner here, right? And say owner is Sanjeet, right? And owner is Sanjeet here, and owner is Sanjeet here. So the owner of these records will also be Sanjeet. So basically, the security works in this fashion that it is kind of controlled by parent. So anybody who can access this C1 course record, the C1 course record can also access the students belonging to this particular course in case it is a master detailed relationship. Now, the third and one of the not so huge point, but an important one is that suppose you delete C1 and then you re-add it back or kind of restore it, sorry, from the recycle bin. In that case, all the student records will also, that is all the child record will also be retrieved from the recycle bin automatically. Now talking about, suppose there are two objects. In this case, both are custom, right? Student and course. But consider that there are some standard objects, right? We have like account, contact, lead, and stuff like that. And then we have custom objects, right? So can standard objects act as detail? No. Detail, right? So let's kind of create a table here. So standard objects cannot act as detail. They have to have be master. Custom object can act as detail, yes. Master. Now, can standard objects be master? Yes, they can be a master. There's exception to this rule, but yeah, for now I'll put it a yes. And then custom objects can be master, yes, right? But the exception to this rule is standard objects except for lead and user. So lead and user cannot be master, except that all standard objects can be on the master side, but they cannot be on a detail side. Can standard and standard objects have a master detail relationship? No, because a standard object cannot be on the detail side. So in case there are two standard objects, you cannot have a master detail relationship there. These are certain aspects of master detail relationship. And one of the most commonly scenarios is a roll-up summary. So you see here, I've created this field called number of students. Is basically that in C1 course, right, I want to identify how many students belong to this course. So here you can see it is 2, right? So if it is a master detail relationship, we can create a roll-up summary field on course, which tells us the sum of the students here. That is the detail records associated to this particular C1 record. It also tells us min, max, and I think it is some min, max, and count. So these are the 4 things that roll-up summaries usually tell us. So this was pretty much about the master detail relationship side of things. I'll be moving on to the lookup now. So talking about a lookup relationship here. Now I just cleaned the slate again, and consider that now student is again a student has a lookup relationship with course. In this case, we need not put C1, C2, C3 right here. So if it is there, it is good. Otherwise, if you even remove it, that's okay. Does not matter, right? So these are like loosely coupled objects, and it may be there, may not be there, unlike master detail. Right, so this is the major difference between a lookup and a master detail. And also you see here, right, the number of students was earlier a roll-up summary field which we had created, but in a lookup object you cannot have a roll-up summary field. You'll have to write some custom logics in order to populate in case required. Then owner of this record need not be the owner of these records. I'll just put it back here. So owner of the C1 course record may or might not be the owner of these records here, unlike in the master detail relationships. And another important factor is that the sharing settings and sharing, how sharing works and security works. The person who's having access to the course might not be able to see a student, and vice versa. So it does not kind of inherit it from its parents. So these are few of the properties. So in case you are looking for a relationship wherein you want a loosely coupled relationship and it should not be restrictive enough, then you can definitely go with the lookup approach. This would make sense there. This is pretty much about lookup and master detail relationship. There is also a self relationship. Self relation is more like, for example, you have a say a employee table, right? So let me copy this and create an employee table here. Employee table, and let me remove this and put it as employee ID. So, and this is the field called manager, right? In this case, suppose John's manager is Colin's manager is John, right? So now John is another employee. So this is kind of manages a self lookup of employee on employee. So this is another type of relationship called a self relationship. Then there is also hierarchical relationship, which is basically a similar relationship with a user object in specific. So I think this is pretty much it for this session. Thanks for taking our time and watching it. You can reach out to me on my Twitter or LinkedIn handles mentioned in the description in case of any doubts. Thanks. Have a great day.